Hello, welcome back or welcome to my channel. It is Sunshine Lorena and this is my July wrap up. So guys, it's been a few months since I have done a wrap up on here. I checked and it was May last time. I'm not doing June guys, I'm just going to do July. I'm not going to overload myself, okay? So these are just the books that I've read in July. I have 7 to get through on this. This will give you an update of where I am. I have been terrible this year with wrap ups, like terrible. So apologies, I've been really bad, but I'm trying to get back into my videos again. I feel like I've said this several times the last few months, but I am gonna just post when I have videos to post. I have not done my August TBR, but I have like chosen it. I did do my TBR game and I have just started a reader vlog for Anna Karenina, so that will be coming your way at some point because that is a big book guys. Okay, so let's just kind of get into it. So in July there was Summerween and also Magical Hopathon. I did not complete either of those TBRs. As you can tell, I only read 7 books. Sorry, my voice is a little bit funny. I ate some Brazil nuts earlier and I feel like there's some remnants stuck in there, so apologies. Yes, so I didn't finish either of those TBRs. I mean, I came close with Summerween, dropped off a cliff with Magical Hopathon, but it did help me read more because it did push me, at least in the beginning of the month. And then I was away in Chicago for a friend's wedding, so my reading just kind of went down because like I was spending time with lots of friends. You know, there was a wedding and then also lots of sightseeing and stuff, so I didn't read at my normal pace, which is totally fine. I was enjoying life. So the first book that I finished in July was Clapping Your Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, and I listened to this on audio. This came out a few years ago, I think it was like 2020, and I remember it being kind of popular at the time. A lot of people were reading it and enjoying it. Yeah, so I remember the people speaking about it back then, but I haven't really heard much about it since. I feel like now there's a lot of like fast fashion, but like book version where books just seem to be like in and out quite quickly. There's some that stay, but yeah, it seems quite quick. But anyway, in this one, it is a YA book, and we have 2 sisters, one who lives in Dominican Republic and then one who's in New York City. They didn't know about each other until their father's death. So he had like 2 families and like they were kept secret. So it's the story of them losing their father and then also dealing with the emotions of that and then finding out about the other sister and that whole process. It was I really enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I don't know if I said that already. I gave it 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it. It was good writing. It was a good story development, and it was a really good quick audiobook as well. Then I picked up one of my anticipated reads of the year, which was Middle of the Night by Riley Sager, which, you know, he always comes out with a book in summer, and this was his first male POV. He always writes from the female POV. This time it was a male one, so it was a switch for him, and it was nice to see him doing that. So this one, you do get 2 timelines in it, because you are dealing, in the present timeline, you're dealing with the past timeline in the 90s. Ethan and his best friend Billy fell asleep in the tent. It's in a quiet cul-de-sac, you know, a very quiet neighbourhood. You never expect anything to happen there. But Ethan in the morning woke up and he was alone. The tent had been sliced open, Billy was nowhere to be found, and no one knows what happened on that night. They've never found him and they've never worked out actually what happened. It's now like 30 years later and we're picking up with Ethan, and he has just returned back to his family home. His parents have went into a care home and he's come back to live in the house for a little bit as a temporary kind of stopgap. But he is still desperate and searching for those answers, and it's something that's plagued him like his entire life. What happened to Billy? So yeah, he has like lots of bad dreams, insomnia. It's really impacted him, but he does see someone prowling around in the cul-de-sac when no one is awake to see them. So there is like this sense of like creepy vibes, like something's going on and things start to happen. But we do kind of delve into the mystery of what happened to Billy, and we just go through that whole process. So I gave this 3 stars in the end. I did enjoy like the plot. I just felt that it was a bit slow in places. It could have been a little bit more kind of fast paced. So yeah, this isn't my favourite Riley Sager book, but it is a good read. So I recommend to read. It's not terrible or anything, you know, but it just isn't like my favourite one of him. Then I read also The Climb Brigade by Stephen Graham Jones, and this is what was Scribd original, so now they're like Everend originals. I don't know if they changed the names on them, but you know what I mean. This was an audiobook. It was only like an hour and 20 minutes. It was for like my Summerween TBR, and I just wanted a quick win. I gave this 3.5 stars. I'm just going to read the actual synopsis because it is so short. I don't want to like say too much. I don't say too much, you know. So it's a brand new day for Kyle. He's flying across the country to meet a woman he's connected with online. His last relationship still haunts him, but just because it didn't work out with Steph, a widely popular spin class instructor, doesn't mean it won't with Jenna. When the plane hits some turbulence, Kyle feels the world go still, even as the cabin insides churn and he sees down the aisle of all things a clown. A red clown with white face paint, eyes drawn like diamonds, a wilted red wig looking right at him and no one else. He briefly wonders if it's some kind of omen. He might be a fool for love, but he's no clown, right? Plans to surprise Jenna and shows up at her building with a single red rose in hand. What could be more romantic, more innocent? Yet Kyle's the one treated to surprise after surprise. Another clown in white face and red wig works pops out of nowhere, and security on the premises isn't as friendly as Kyle had hoped. He's just a young guy looking for love, but looks can be deceiving, and in Joan's hands, boy meets girls become daring and darkly funny. Social commentary, deeply disturbing and tragically timely, poesque, reckoning with a culture where the fantasies of fools and clowns, in fact a whole brigade of them, too readily turn to seamless violence and end in chaos and destruction. So yes, that kind of sums it up. There's not much I can say when it is a short story, but I did enjoy it. It was good creepiness. He really does well at these short ones because I have read some of his like novellas and things, and yeah, they're really good, quick reads, right level of creepiness, and he is such a great writer. Then I read The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is book 2 in the Bridgerton series by Julia Quinn. I had only previously read The Duke and I after the first series, and I've been meaning to get to this one for like ages, and I finally picked up in July. And I am going to work my way through the series and hopefully just get to some of them before they actually come out. I have already seen like spoilers for like Francesca's one because like of what happened in season 3, so I just now want to just read through them and try and avoid getting spoilers for the series. Also just enjoy the stories as they were originally written. So this is Anthony's story, and he is the eldest Bridgerton brother, in case you didn't know. So in this one, Anthony decides it's time, he needs to find a bride, get a wife, and kind of, you know, get married as the Viscount, you know, get his Viscountess. So he sets out to do that in this particular season that we are in this book. He has chosen a wife. The only obstacle is his attendant's older sister, Kate Sheffield, the most meddlesome woman ever to grace a London ballroom. The spirited schemer is driving Anthony mad with her determination to stop the betrothal, but when he closes his eyes at night, Kate is the woman haunting his increasingly erotic dreams. Contrary to popular belief, Kate is quite sure that reformed rakes do not make the best husbands, and Anthony Bridgerton is the most wicked rogue of them all. Kate is determined to protect her sister, but she fears her own heart is vulnerable, and when Anthony's lips touch hers, she's suddenly afraid she might not be able to resist the reprehensible rake himself. So I really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4.5 stars, guys. Really enjoyed it. It is a bit different from the TV series. The things with Kate's sister doesn't go as far as it does in the TV series. I feel like the plot lines, it was better set out in the book. I actually enjoyed the book a little bit more than TV series, but I did really enjoy the TV series too. But yes, I was really enjoyed the character development, their story between the two of them, like the whole like enemies vibe. And I also love the kind of the epilogue, so you see them in the future, plus there's like an additional one now in the book, so it's really good to see like where they kind of end up. And we got to see, well, this isn't really a spoiler because you know it's a romance, right? That would be kind of spoiler. I was gonna say something that if you haven't seen the series or read the book, then you wouldn't know, but I'm glad that you saw some things in the book that doesn't happen in the series, guys. That is very vague, but don't want to give spoilers. But yes, you do get a lot more out of the book, I find, and I did really enjoy it. And I'm gonna be moving on to book 3, which is Benedict's one, who, funnily enough, I have not actually had spoilers. All I know it's a Cinderella inspired story, but I've not actually heard any spoilers of it, so that's why I need to get to it ASAP because, like, you know, spoilers are terrible. Then I picked up Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens. This is like the second book, I think, after Peter Pan, which I read last year. I didn't really enjoy it, so you're probably thinking, why did you pick this one up? Gave it 2.5 stars, very middle of the road, didn't really gain too much from it. I now can't remember, but it had to do with my prompts, and I was like, I need to get something done quick. Chose this, forgot that I'd unhauled the book, Peter Pan book that I had the story in it, So I just ended up listening to the audiobook from Everend. But yes, this is kind of like Peter Pan's tale, like story. You get like more of his backstory, whereas in the original Peter Pan, like you see him actually as the boy in Neverland, etc. Whereas you get his actual backstory in this, and you get to know a little bit about the world. So it's kind of good that from perspective, but it's very average for me. So that's why I gave it a 2.5. Then guys, I finally picked up Shadow and Bone. So this is first in the Shadow Bone trilogy, and I enjoyed this, guys. I really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna just give you read the synopsis so you have like a little background in case you haven't read it. I've had this on my shelf for 3 years. I have the other 2. I will get to those. It's not going to take me 3 years again, guys. Like, I really hope it doesn't. But yes, this one, Alina is Alina is a soldier. When her regiment is attacked whilst crossing the Shadow Fold, a swath of unnatural darknesses crawling with monsters, Alina unleashes dormant magic not even she knew she possessed. Now Alina will enter a lavish world of royalty and intrigue as she trains with the Grisha, her country's magical military elite, and falls under the spell of the notorious leader, the Darkling. He believes Alina can summon a force capable of destroying the Shadowfold and reuniting their war-ravaged country, but only if she can master her untamed gift. But as Alina unlocks the secret of her past, she will make a dangerous discovery that could threaten all she loves and the future of the very nation. So this was great. So like I said, 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. There is a lot of setup in this, but I enjoyed the building of the world, getting to know how it functions, and obviously that kind of element of the Darkling, getting to know that character, and just, yeah, throwing yourself in the world. I really enjoyed it. Really can't wait to move on with the series to see actually where it develops, because like I said, this was a lot of setup for then that second and then third, as you get with fantasy books. I never really expect to like give the first one 5 stars. The exception to that is the Poppywort, guys, because that was a 5-star series for me. But I don't never tend to expect the first one to be 5-star because it is a lot of setup, but I did enjoy it. Character development, getting to know them, like I said, the world, the Darkling, who I'm very intrigued about as a character, and intrigued to see how things progress between the Darkling and Alina. Yes, very intrigued to see where it goes, but yes, a really good read. Also, that was my first fantasy book in months and months, and it was such breath of fresh air, because I've been reading a lot of thrillers over the last few months, and yeah, breath of fresh air, really needed that. So I mean, I don't have any fantasy books in August, but I feel like, you know, I need to start bringing them in a little bit more into my TBRs. Then the last one that I finished in August, the last one I finished in July, because I did carry a few books over into August to finish. The last one I finished was The Score, which is Off Campus Book 3 by Elle Kennedy. The Off Campus series starts with The Deal. You've probably heard about it. The covers have just had like a kind of a revamp within the last, I've been seeing them over the last while, like last few months, but I don't know how long it's been, but they've had a bit of a revamp compared to previous ones. So this picks up with another couple. It is set in the Briar U campus. They are college students. And this is following Ali, who is in crisis mode with graduation looming. She still doesn't have the first clue about what she's going to do after college. To make matters worse, she's nursing a broken heart thanks to the end of her long-term relationship. A wild rebound is definitely not the solution to her problems, but gorgeous hockey star Dean De Laurentiis is impossible to resist. Just once though, because even if her future's uncertain, it sure as heck won't include king of one-night stands. Dean always gets what he wants: girls, grades, girls, recognition, girls. He's a ladies' man, alright? And he's yet to meet a woman who's immune to his charms until Ali. For one night, the feisty blonde rocked his entire world, and now she wants to be friends? Nope, it's not over until he says it's over. Dean is in full-on pursuit, but when life-rocking changes strike, he starts to wonder if maybe it's time to stop focusing on scoring and shoot for love. I enjoyed this one. I gave it 3.5 stars. I think this series is just, they're really fun books, you know, nothing serious, but it's nice to see different characters developing as well, because you do know most of the boys because they live in the same house, so you get in each of their stories, but then they tend to interconnect with the girls, and it's just, yeah, it's nice to see like a sports romance. I'm not really normally a sports romance kind of person, but I think they're really fun. I will be continuing on with the series, and there's not really much else to say. It's like a romance, it's great, you know, the character development, the tension, you know, between the characters and how it kind of resolves. I really enjoyed like the build up, and also the way that it ended. And that's it. That is all 7 books that I read in July. I was about to say August again, guys, that I read in July. Let me know if you read any of these. Leave that in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit subscribe if you don't want to miss any more content from me, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.